The title of my latest photography series is Rompimento, Rupture, which is the sum of several projects that I have been developing over the years, such as 2 trips to the Xavante indigenous Huni Kuin communities in the Amazon, commercial technical photography for engineering, a trip to the Queimada Nova and Lagoa do Barro communities in the interior of Piauí, Brazil, and an academic master's research in anthropology. The first experience began in the 90s when I went with anthropologist Laila Williamson to Mato Grosso do Sul, to the village of Pimentel Barbosa on the Mortars River, documenting the Xavante indigenous people for the American Museum of Natural History in New York, which had 2 pieces of craftsmanship from that people and their collection. During my stay, I photographed the manufacturing process of numerous pieces and the way of life of those indigenous people. My second immersion in an indigenous land was in 2000, together with environmentalist Maria Amália de Souza from the Socioambiental House Fund of São Paulo, in the village of Kaxinawa indigenous people, or Huni Kuin, in Acre, on the border with Peru, photographing for the NGO The Forefront Leaders, based in Washington, D.C. The NGO received the Human Rights Award from the Reebok Foundation and created a website for the Jordan River Kaxinawa Association. I documented aspects of the routine and rituals of the Kaxinawa people for the website. Later, in 2017, I made a trip to photograph the construction of a wind farm near the communities of Lagoa do Barro and Queimada Nova in the interior of Piauí, northeastern Brazil. My work included documenting hovels and people living along the roads, without basic sanitation or electricity, which led me to many questions such as, what kind of development in this that displaces the original inhabitants and fragments their lives and homes into other spaces made of concrete that do not belong to them? During my work for engineering companies, some concrete samples on the construction sites caught my attention. Pictorially, they are unusual objects of engineering and construction technology with the suggestive name of bodyproof. They are samples taken on site during the construction process. After 7 and 28 days, the pieces are tested in the laboratory for their strength. The strength tests consist of applying a compression load until the concrete specimen breaks. Given the lack of freedom to live in a world entirely programmed by devices, I decided to try new possibilities by subverting the functions of the tools I use to create my images. For example, I used an old overhead projector to project 35mm slides onto the concrete specimens, resulting in images with inaccurate focus and the marks produced by the overhead projector, making a real reading of the images impossible and approaching them to fiction. Frequently, I let the slide leak fragments of the image on the wall, or even its frame, creating new possibilities for dialogue. In other experiments, using more precise projector and accurate focus, I allow myself to crop and clone the background, thus distorting this alleged precision and reality. Currently, I'm incorporating artificial intelligence software called dell'I, generating new images from the ones I previously created with the projections. The rupture of concrete, which withstands the compression of the load up to a certain point, relates to the moment of rupture in my visual work. Thus, my current work with images has, due to the vicissitudes of my journey, two directions. On one hand, it maintains an anthropological nuance derived from the research I conducted during my master's degree and from documentary photography works. On the other hand, it involves the commercial photography that I have been practicing for engineering companies. As a result of these experiences, my photography is no longer the same. It's rupture. The fragments of life of those who are relocated to unfamiliar places they have no familiarity with are metaphors for broken concrete samples with their grooves, cracks, and irregularly shaped stones. It's rupture. Rompimento. The photography I develop, a product of this rupture, is situated in the realm of experimentation and aims to engage in contemporary debates and expand photography beyond natural boundaries.